Well, trying to get the snow fleet ready, and I went to start the commercial 12 and Fluffy's behind it. So we towed the commercial 12 up here with the John Deere 214, which could barely pull it, by the way. It was spinning out half the way. And we got to take the blower housing off and see if we can clean out Fluffy before we go any farther. See some evidence there. See some evidence down here. It's going to take it apart and do this right. Then we got to clean the points probably after that. So I needed a new battery for my Makita drill, and they had this deal at Home Depot. You could get a free tool with a battery. So I bought this stupid little ratchet here. I'm going to try to use it taking this commercial 12 apart. It says it only has 35 foot-pounds of torque, so it's pretty lightweight junk, but I'm going to see what it's all about. I got to take the hitch support off the back. Now, I've taken out 3 bolts with this, including the ones that hold the shroud on. I didn't have the balls to do it. Let's try these flywheel screen bolts. Let's see. That worked for that. But the good news is that you can move it like a manual ratchet, and I moved it like a hair, and then they came out. Let's see. I mean, those don't have any torque to them, these things. They're barely in there. So it is kind of a knuckle buster here because the trigger is flush with a normal socket on there. So I guess you got to use a deep socket or something. Sometimes it's hard to get it. There we go. Okay. Now, is Fluffy actually in here? Better be after all that. There's barely anything in there, but we're down to like 2 bolts to come out, so we're just gonna finish it at this point. All right, let's see here. Fluffy didn't jump out. Oh, that's not so bad, but we're gonna blow it out and clean it up. There definitely was Fluffy in there, but luckily Fluffy's currently on vacation and not in here. It's probably decimating some other tractor somewhere. All right, cool. All right, here's where you run into the problem with these crawlers, is that there's a bolt hole right up here, like that, you know, the shroud goes into, and Fluffy's nest is stuck between the ring gear and that bolt hole. And I'm gonna turn the flywheel backwards with my foot here and try to get it out, and I'll vacuum it up some more. All right, so we got Fluffy all cleaned out. The worst spot was, you don't know Fluffy's in there and you start it and then it gets all stuck in the ring gear. So that was the worst part. And my Mexican coil here is still holding up. Anyways, we're gonna clean the points and see if we can fire her up. All right, so got all the fluids checked. We got the engine back together, the hitch back on it. I filed the points a little bit. Let me see if it's got spark. No spark. Let's clean up the points some more. Yay, points. I hate points. Got my trusty points file out here. I just hit them again. So let's see what we got this time. I don't see anything. We'll hit it some more. Junk points. Hate points. Did I mention I hate points? Did I mention I want to make an electronic ignition for this thing with a flywheel trigger? That'd be awesome. Zero. I got my voltmeter out here. I said these points are too clean. They gotta be another problem. So I pulled the key switch out. First, I always check from negative on the battery to positive on the coil, and I got nothing. So I pulled the key switch out, and where this black one with the white stripe is where the wire going to the coil is. And it's a little bit corroded on that prong, and there's no power going to the coil. So I'm hoping if I pull that off and clean it up, that maybe we can get it started. I think there's no power at the coil. All right, I got 12 volts to the coil now. So I'm gonna unhook my meter here. Now, let's see if we got some fire in the hole now. Oh yeah, baby, sure do. All right. Let me put the points cover back on here and we'll take the spark tester out and we'll go drive it around a little bit. So I got the points cover back on, taking the spark tester off now and hooking the plug wire back up. And I noticed I'm sitting here and I'm getting wet. My hand's over here, it's getting wet. I noticed the China fuel pump is soaking wet. And then I look up a little farther and notice that the bowl is wet. So I don't know if my gasket on the bowl is bad or what, but I'm gonna try to tighten up the bowl nut and see if that fixes anything here. All right, the gearbox is low on oil, and this is what we use, Mobil. It's an industrial gear oil made for worm gears. It doesn't eat brass. So I'm gonna pour a little bit in this other jug here and we'll get it in there somehow. It's not easy. Now, I put a little piece of gas line on the end of the thing, and we should have the gearbox filled up to this spot here. Sometimes it's easier to take this cover off and fill it from there. This cover is broken up here, so I don't really want to screw with it too much, but we'll fill it up. All right, got it filled up. Only spilled a little on the driveway. Remember a year or so ago, I put in these bearings in the end here, replaced them. So I'm gonna oil up the chain on the chute back here in the gearbox, and we're gonna test it out. See how it goes. Got this chute all oiled up. Boy, that's never worked so good in a long time. All right, let's see if we can fire this turd up now. Come on, baby. Probably flooded. Come on. Why did it just stall? Uh-oh. It's leaking gas like crazy out of the carb. All right, I got the carb off of the machine. I'm gonna pull this bowl and see what the heck is going on in this thing. When I turn this machine off, I've been turning the fuel valve off and letting the carb run out of fuel so it's empty and it doesn't get full of ethanol. But maybe that's, I don't know, I can never win. It's like, is the gasket getting dried up because of that? I don't know, let's find out. All right, let's see here. I thought I got all the gas out of there. I guess not. That doesn't look so bad. A little bit of goo. Yeah, there's some junk in there for sure. Maybe I didn't have it drained out. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, let me take this all apart and we'll see what we got. All right, so maybe I never had it, you know, drained out of gas, because look at all that ethanol boogers up there. Let me take this gasket off. Look, it's totally plugged up with ethanol boogers. It's like applesauce, nasty stuff. So let me blow this all out and clean it up and we'll put it back together. All right, we got that sucker cleaned out good now. Hopefully I can reuse that gasket. If you take them out, oftentimes the little one that goes in this groove expands and you can never get it back in. I got a pile of them somewhere, so I can salvage a new one if I have to. I just hate to put new ones in all the time because they seem to be replacing them left and right. So my gasket here had expanded a lot. So I went inside and I put it in the freezer for a couple minutes and grabbed a drink of water and it shrank. And I put it back in and it's good now. So we'll get this all buttoned up. All right, I got the carb back on. I'm not gonna put the air cleaner on until I know it's working properly. So, you know, the bowl is dry right now. So we'll, oh, I gotta turn the gas tank back on. I opened up the lid so that I could dump the gas out of the carb back into the tank. Let me open that up. And it's probably gonna take it a minute to get gas in the bowl. choke cable doesn't work, so you gotta do one of them. Let's see. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, you can do it. Well, it's leaking on the carb again. Big surprise. I guess I'm gonna look for one of them gaskets and throw it in there and the heck with this thing. Guess the freezer trick didn't really work. I gotta clean up my workbench. I have no idea where those gaskets are. I had like a 5-pack of them. I don't know. See all this crap here? I don't know where anything is in this freaking mess, but I had one of these blue drawers full of carb stuff. I got 3 floats in there, a couple of fuel shutoffs, but no gaskets. So, I don't know, keep digging. These screws are for replacement carb screws for the float and stuff like that. Like the butterflies, you know? Brand new gas cap. But somewhere I had like, it's like a bag that they come in. A couple of them come in a pack, you know, those little bags like that. I don't know where anything is in this pile of junk. Anyways, hopefully I can find. Otherwise, we'll order a new one and park it until next weekend. Dude, look what I found. I found it. Now, let's take this turd apart again, I guess. Second time's a charm. Well, of course, I lost the little C-clip that goes on the governor rod connection to the carburetor. So I just had to run down to the hardware store, which is luckily like less than 5 minutes from the house. And I bought 5 of them. They're 35 cents a piece. So for $1.86, we're back in business. Let me put that clip on there. We'll see if it will fire up. And if the carb leaks again, hopefully we're good. All right, let's see what we got here. Got the choke on. Really winning today, you know that? So it's leaking and the C-clip flew off and it just went up to like 4,000 RPM. So back to the drawing board. It's got, maybe it's coming out of the bolt on the bottom of the bowl. Maybe I need a new seal on that bolt. I just randomly had this washer or whatever you call it that goes under that bolt that holds the bowl on sitting on the workbench. So maybe we'll put that on, see if it makes any difference. I hope so. All right, got the new one on there. It's actually about twice as thick as this old one. So I don't know if over time it... Oops, I dropped it on the ground. I don't know if over time it gets worn down because I've taken this stupid thing apart so many times to clean the ethanol out or what, but I'm really gonna hope that this one does the trick. So let's try it. All right, let's try it for like the 5th time now. Where is it coming from? Is it not the bottom of the bowl? It's not wet around the top. It's just dripping out of the bottom. I just don't get it. Is there like a pinhole in it that I'm not aware of or what? I think I'm gonna put a different bowl on it and try it that way. This is dumb. And the thing runs perfect, but it's dripping like a faucet. What the heck, man? All right, well, take this bowl off here. I'm gonna put this other bowl on there that's from my parts shelf. I really just don't get this at all. I mean, this thing's got a lot of pitting in it, but I would highly doubt there's a physical hole in it, you know? I don't know. Let's try this one and see if we get any better results. Piece of junk, huh? All right, here goes like try number 6, I think. Let's see. See, I mean, yeah, this thing's dry as a bone. So it must have been the bowl is screwed up. Dude, we'll throw that other bowl in the garbage and chalk it up to glad we had one on the parts shelf. Well, I drove around to the back of the house and just shut off, like someone turned off a switch. So I think I got no spark again. So I'm going to go get the spark tester and test spark again. But this may be to be continued to tomorrow. I'm really starting to get aggravated at this thing. But we'll get it. Let's see if we got spark here. We lost spark again. What the heck's going on, huh? Piece of junk. Well, if I put my voltmeter on the hot side of the coil again, I got no voltage. Sorry, the meter doesn't show up very good in the camera. I mean, just to show you, if I go over to the battery, I got 11.94. I've cranked the crap out of this battery today. And if I go over here to this positive, I got 1.8 millivolts. So something up here in the key switch department is screwed again. So maybe I'll take that apart again. Cool. Well, the wire on the key switch crapped out again. I took it off and, you know, wiggled it, and it's got 12 volts again. So I don't know. might have to rewire it or put a new key switch in it. But the wire that goes from the coil to the key switch is like petrified. It's so old, but I think I might just replace that one little wire. It's maybe 10 inches long, and then I could really clean up the back of the key switch. There's a lot of corrosion on it. Maybe it needs a little sandpaper on it or something. I don't know. Let's check it out. So I got it on now, and we do have 11.47 volts. So kind of thinking if I take all this crap off of here, I got my spark tester on again. I'm going to take that off. It would be really odd that the points would just crap out randomly. And it just sounded like someone turned the key off. Let's see what happens now. Other news, the carburetor's dry, so that's good news. The other thing that drives me nuts about this tractor is that, I don't know if you can see, but the right handlebar is bent down. It's got to be 6 inches lower than the left side handlebar, and it really drives me nuts. I can't stand it. So I gotta, you know, think about, is there some way that I can bend that thing back? Because it really sucks being bent down like this. And I don't know the answer, but if you picked it up with a chain on there or something on the bucket loader, maybe I could do it, but it's really annoying using it with it bent down like that. Anyways, well, this hammered bowl is going to go in the garbage, and we'll chalk that up to being a piece. And it lasted 50 years, so it's a 1972 Kohler, and it's 2022, so I guess you can't really complain about that now, can you?